Hello, and today we're playing the newest update of Celta. Wipe your feet. The bright beam reflected over a metal gate, and the observer pulled out a rag to wipe his dog's little misshaped feet before finally pulling the heavy door open and letting them run inside. With Gunner's help, we got both our feet clean. With his handkerchief, we followed closely behind. The observer had changed his heavy boots into cozier-looking slippers. The inside of the building was spacious and barely lit, with some relics I never saw again until I came to Celta much later. A handful of magic power knickknacks with no obvious purpose. The further we walked, the more peculiar it grew. We were in a wide hall filled with tall bookshelves, each of them holding rows of leather-clad books. There were numbers and words written on the spines, using mostly familiar letters, but I couldn't understand any of those words. At first I thought maybe it was all in code, but now I know it was a different language. A foreign tongue using the same system of signs as our own for some reason, save for a handful of editions. Journals, hundreds upon hundreds of them. Each and every one written by the same hand. Eventually we started passing empty cells and then made a turn for an entrance to a smaller room. The dark wooden door contrasted with the metal walls, like it wasn't meant to be installed there. As soon as he opened the door, the observer's dogs ran inside in excitement. As we followed closely behind him, Gunner's presence gave me comfort. The mysterious man took a small metal rectangle out of his pocket and conjured a flame out of it with a gentle flick, illuminating the room with a couple of candles on the wooden desk by the wall. The contours of wooden, metal, and leather furniture finally came into full view, basked in a warm light. It smelled like his bedroom. I always preferred flames of a white light. It's cozy, natural. A few things in this weird world are, with a quiet click, the white sting from his magic artifact ceased its glow and subtly as it was conjured. Personally, I thought the white light was pretty cool. Shit. As the observer rested in the wooden chair by a desk, his dogs lay down on the floor by his feet. Since the start, none of the three canines had uttered even a single word. Were their minds actually too primitive to even comprehend language? Or were they not allowed to speak? That I didn't know. Glancing around the room, I was deciding on where to sit down. I liked his bunk bed, and for a moment I considered climbing up the ladder to check it out, but in the end I decided that could be rude. Couch it was, then. It didn't look like any leather I've ever seen in a castle. The texture and smell. It felt new but comforting to me. I approached to touch it, but no. Not on the couch. You have the whole floor. What? I don't want your fur all over my furniture. I stared at him wide-eyed at a loss for words. From the sheer disrespect, nobody had ever spoken to me like that before. I looked at Gunner. As as pleased and embarrassed as he looked while avoiding my stare, he obediently unfastened his crimson cape and spread it in the middle of the floor for me to sit on. Gunner. It is fine. I'm by your side, my king. But Please do not get offended. It is not a big deal, really. It was weird seeing Gunner act so obedient. Back at the surface, he wouldn't stand for even a sliver of disrespect against me. There on the ground, he sounded weak. I was equally offended and confused by the observer's behavior. Anyone else in the kingdom would be honored to be blessed with strands of my fur over their couch. But since every other canine in the room listened to the master of this dungeon, I decided to follow suit. I carefully approached Gunner's folded cape on the floor and sat down. It was thick and soft and made from a surprisingly good seating. Oh, thank God he listens. I mean, I knew he would this time, but Jesus Christ, finally. Took us a while, huh? Why can't you always be like that? What do you mean? Observer. Yeah, don't mind me, I'm just rambling. I'm just so thrilled to finally see such a good, obedient puppy, that's all. Obedient puppy. Don't you think you're being a little too casual, Sir Observer? Too casual? What, a dog? Gosh, you're cute. How highly all you think of yourselves. I could hear the metal mass reverberating with his mocking laughter. I kept glancing at Gunner, but he kept quiet. I couldn't stop irritation growing inside me, and before my guardian could stop me, I barked at our host. I'm not a puppy to you, and I'm not a dog. I am a wolf. And it is time you started serving me in general Gunner obedience yourself, stranger. My liege, please. It's okay, General. I assume he is not aware, so I'll grant him pardon this time, but I think we owe him proper instructions. Or proper introductions. I am, in fact, the ruler of the Crimson Royal Grove. Oh, Sir Observer, I'm King. Oh, I know who you are. Don't you worry. I know you better than you know. I know you better than you know yourself. You do? Of course, you don't know that, but I've been taking care of you ever since your rebirth. Even much longer than that, actually. And now, you're finally here with me. Because you haven't been acting entirely like a good boy the past few weeks. You need a little correction, don't you? What? No, that's not why I came. I came here because General said there are questions only you can answer. Same thing, really. Your curiosity, that's something we definitely have to address. But first tell me, who gave you that book, little puppy? A friend. Oh, a friend? It was Burry Tageroots, the Saint Bernard dog, yes, I know. The young and promising scholar researching corruption for us.
He has been helpful and loyal all this time. I still can hardly believe he would rebel like that without obvious signs. And you, how is it possible you didn't see that coming? How? Are you forgetting his role, Gunner? Corruption, ablaze, they come hand in hand, as you are well aware. The very nature and purpose of his research is to build open that which is still blurred to me, so no wonder. I couldn't foresee that before, but now I can certainly see it. The longer we use Burry to research those fields for us, the more he's going to grow out of our control. Shall I do something about it? No, he's not as readily replaceable as the others. This one accident with the prince was a part of a calculated risk, a small price for the answers that Dark has brought us and is still yet to unveil. Same though, I consider bringing him here if he proves himself more trustworthy. God knows how much we need people like him. Now I can't. Unfortunately, we'll need to replace him carefully, but not before he gives me a few more answers I want. Let him keep working for now. We're going to squeeze more value out of him while slowly draining his spirit in a way he can't pose a threat even if he's gone. I already know his weaknesses. You'll see what I mean. For now, observe him while I decide on the successor. You want to do something to Burry? Kinda why? My apologies. We ought not to discuss details of those matters here. Yeah, After all, you didn't come all the way down here for us to talk about Burry. We're here to talk about you. But Burry didn't do anything wrong. You can't punish him. I can't. You still don't understand who you're dealing with, do you? Don't mistake my kindness for weakness, Dark Prince. I flinched as, with a quick twist of his hand, a silver coin appeared between the observer's fingers, a basic sleight of hand technique. The coin was so well polished it reflected the light of the candle like a tiny mirror. The chance of correctly guessing 10 random coin tosses in a row is roughly 1 in 1,000. That's a lot, right? Ha, it's cute how you don't speak and act like people, but you can't understand big abstract numbers. No, that's not a lot. That's very little. Toss the coin and I'll guess the result. If I'm wrong even a second time out of 10, I lose. A 1,023 to 1 chance in your favor. Statistically, you're never guaranteed to win. And if I do, you swear to leave Burry alone? I do. I swear I will. But if, despite all odds, I still manage to guess all 10 tosses correctly, you'll listen to what I have to tell you. No interruptions, no tantrums, full focus. Just that? Oh, you would be surprised how hard it is to get a child to listen sometimes. But you know, you're right. I should ask for more, but chances, as unlikely as that. I really want to boot your snoot. It's so pink and cute. So how about you let me have that, and then we'll get back to talk about the talking. How about that? Holding a coin in my second hand, I looked at Gunnar. The expression of discomfort on his face was growing more severe with every passing moment. Observer, this is not necessary. You will listen as I ask him, right, my king? Seeing Gunnar's pleading eyes, I considered him for a moment. However, for some reason, the view of the observer's man's hollow eyes made me angry. He was so confident, so abrasive. With a quiet growl, I tossed a coin. Tails. The coin fell to the floor and spun for a short moment, and tumbled flat down, showing tails. Tails. I flipped the coin up harder, spinning it so fast it appeared to me like a half-transparent metal ball. It bounced off the floor and landed on tails. Lucky so far, huh? Next were tails and tails. I paused for a moment before grabbing the coin and giving it a great toss. Then another. Tails. Tails. How are you doing this? The next 5 were heads, and tails. I couldn't understand what was going on, but I knew there had to be some kind of dirty trick involved, a way of manipulating the spin of the coin on the weight of one side. I tossed the coin, but I didn't let it fall. Instead, I grabbed it while it was still spinning in mid-air. Once I opened my palm, the head side was facing me. I was starting to feel panic and desperate. I carefully held the coin with my fingers, making it face up before letting it fall without spinning. It still bounced and rotated just enough to land on the head side, just like he predicted. With a growl, I grabbed a silver coin and ran outside the room, tossing a little metal disc across the long corridor between the books-filled cells. Once I finally caught up to the signed coin, it was facing heads. How? My heart was beating so hard in my chest, confused and terrified. There must have been something about this place I thought no other explanation. So I closed my hands around the coin and tossed it between them. Then, without looking at it, I was running between my fingers over and over and over and over without letting go of it for a single moment, still holding firmly to the coin. I finally allowed my sight to fall on it. I felt like yelling when I saw heads. The coin slipped between my weak, trembling fingers and bounced against the floor, spinning rapidly over its own edge with a sharp sound, before finally resting tails side up. There's still one final toss now. Are you curious what's going to be? It will be heads. Do you want to toss it, or should I? The observer bent over and picked up the coin. He offered it to me. I looked away. I didn't want to touch it. Gunner, he's an observer. Gunner! The observer raised his free hand and brought it over my head. I swear I saw the glove tips of his fingers signing for a brief moment. His piercing rises reflected in the darkness with a faint light. Please, be gentle. He's a good boy. Don't worry, Gunner. The moment his hand rested on my hair, I felt like every strand of my foot electricized. For a second, I lost feeling over my body, while at the same time being more awake and aware than ever. At the corner of my eye, I saw Gunner glowing in red light, while everything else became blurred. My awareness kept expanding, every breath from my lungs and the very flow of blood in my veins. It felt like I was giving all those sensations my full attention tenfold over all at the same time. I won't be any rougher than necessary. Then everything mellowed down and went back to normal as quickly as it happened. I could still feel the observer's hand on my head. He was patting me. Let's go back. Let's have our talk. He patted my head a couple more times and then he booted my snoot with his finger. He put the silver coin back in his pocket before walking away past Gunner. His 3 dogs bounced around him excited as if they couldn't read the room. Like if they didn't possess the gift of canine empathy. Gunner helped me get up and we both walked back to the observer's room. He was already sitting back in his chair while the rest of us had to make do resting on the floor just like before. Gunner still avoided my stare. Tell me, how have you been enjoying your life, puppy? You've had it pretty good, haven't you? Comfortable? Well, yes. Anything you're missing? Are you hungry? Cold alone? Is anyone being mean to you? Expect this ambulance to come by. No, not really. Everyone in the council is very nice. Yeah, you've been pretty lucky. Not a single word in the world. There's no person in your whole little kingdom that wouldn't want to swap places with you. This makes me wonder, why do you want to throw it all away and ruin that blessed life so much? What? All you needed to do was just to stay docile and obedient, but now you suddenly decide to start getting curious. I know what's that's going to lead to if I don't help you understand. It happened the last time too. He opened a drawer in his desk and pulled out a relic. A small metal handle shaped like an oddly worn hammer with a short hollow tube extending from the front and a metal trigger in the inner section of the curve. I get a feeling you may have some idea of what kind of relic I'm talking about. From now on, you will listen to me. You will speak when asked, and you won't interrupt. Push my patience 2 months, you'll see what this thing here does. He's trying to kill him then. Are we clear so far? I glanced between him, Gunner, and the relic, confused and anxious. I didn't know what that relic was, but I nodded all the same. Good. Now tell me, why do you want to know about Moon so much? Why? I don't know. It's just that I got really sad about the end of New Moon story, and then I found out that New Moon could be the same person or something, but nobody is talking about him, and I just don't understand why my own subjects have to hide things from me. I'll be 9 next week. I'm not a little puppy anymore. I'm the king. It is my duty to know everything, even unpleasant things. How else can I make everyone happy? Gonzalez didn't reply at first. I thought he was considering how to reply, but then I noticed his shoulder shaking. Even though I couldn't see his face or read his mind, I felt a mocking grin behind that shiny metal mask. Make everyone happy, you say? Do you think you can do that? Of course, that's what a king is for. Do you mean everyone? Yes. That's... wow. You're a Western child. You're an idiot. What? You can never please or save anyone. They never please or save everyone. If such a thing was possible, we wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. If it was possible, I wouldn't know of it. And you, let's be honest about something right off the bat. You are not a ruler. You never will be. You were never meant to be the one in the first place. Your role is to be keep appearances and agree with your advisors. It is my own fault that you're now starting to think there was anything more to that than that. But don't worry, I'm going to rectify that. So, yeah, he's just supposed to be a puppet for a person who really wants the kingdom. Was him, the observer. And then what if things go really bad in the kingdom? People are going to blame him. Well, not the observer, but they got to blame the king for everything. While the observer doesn't get any blowback. It's kind of like how a lot of governments around the world are. I can already see we're going to come to an agreement by the end of your visit here. That is, are you being serious? That is treason. Gunner. The wolf was silent, staring blankly at the floor. I felt tension in his heart. Why did he bring me here, really? Had he been scheming with the observer for control over the grove? No, I couldn't believe that. Gunner wasn't like that. I knew him. He was the most loyal person in the whole kingdom. He was almost like a friend to me. He wouldn't betray me. So I came to the most logical conclusion. That must have been a test of the strength of my will as a king. You are wrong. I'm not. Yes, you are. With all the knowledge you say you possess, you're still the most clueless person in the country. You can predict as many thousands of coin tosses as you wish. But that doesn't mean you know how to be an alpha of all canines. We aren't ruled by the cold absolutes, but rather by our collective heart. The moment we resign to sacrificing the well-being of even a single dog for the past greater good deed, I am deafened by the sudden thunderous noise exploding through the room. The observer's dogs ran past me and scratched against the door, crying in fear. But only 2 of them. The third one still laid by the observer's feet, motionless, and a quickly growing pool of blood. A thin trail of smoke flew from the opening at the end of the relic held in the observer's outstretched arm. The metallic stench of blood mixed with the scent of smoke and the fear in the 2 other primitive dogs' minds overwhelmed my senses. I cried out. The idea of saving everyone without paying any sort of a price is the surest way to doom everyone. You can haggle with fate, yes, to an extent. But some sort A price always has to be paid. Just like how Prometheus tricked the gods with what sort of sacrifice they would choose to receive as their tribute till the end of time. We are exactly like that metaphorical power bones and fat from the myth. Kind of help. What are you doing? Stand up and fight. Kind of please. Calm down. You killed a person. What? It will not come to pass, I promise you. He's always scaring you. He's showing you what he can do. You have to stay strong. What do you mean? Oh, Ghana. Where's the wind of my thunder? I blinked and everything went quiet again. I sat comfortably on Gunner's cape cushion again. And all three of the observer's dogs rested by his side again. He petted the one I just saw dead, and the dog looked completely oblivious to what just happened. He was happy from the attention. An illusion? Your mind. What did you see, my king? For the first time in a while, Gunner turned to me. His mind felt weird, like it reverted to a state from a minute ago, except it glanced into worry. Observer, did you just hurt the king? Quiet, Gunner. You promised you wouldn't hurt him. I watched the worry in Gunner's mind blossom into pain, guilt, into rage. He snarled. And before the observer had the time to raise the relic weapon at Gunner, the wolf's blade was already at the masked man's neck. The three dogs leaped at Gunner, clawing and biting at his metal armor in vain as the observer's head rolled down the floor, resting right in front of me. And Sokka just stared down at it. This metal mask was slipping off. In a moment of curiosity, I reached out for it and... No, Gunner, I didn't hurt him. Then why he's so scared? I saw one of the dogs, and then he walked as he freaked out and chopped my head off. What? My king, is that true? Gunner, what's going on? His mind, it seems like it retracted to a previous state once again. This time it blanched from the moment when he asked the observer about what scared me. This time he got a different answer. His reaction was different too. No, that's too much. You can explain it to him more gently. He will listen, I promise. Please, be gentle. Gunner. Oh, fine, I guess I can do that for you. He already understands anyway, don't you, puppy? The observer raised his hand off the dog's head and held it in the tips of his two fingers pressed together. Gunner put his big, heavy hand on my shoulder. You think you can rule without knowledge, just with your heart? Let's see how that works out for you. Your Majesty, they're waiting. You have to make a decision, huh? Or you having doubts, my king? Our army needs food, and the people have to go hungry for a few more weeks, so be it. They will understand. They are used to it. They know that once we win, their bellies will be filled with the spoils from the other side of the borderlands. Protecting our border state's priority, even if we have to stretch their paces for a bit longer. No, they're here today precisely because we've already pushed them too far. Your Majesty, nobody can tell how much longer this conflict is going to take. 2 more weeks, months, years? This is not sustainable. We're feeding the kingdom's muscle by the stone its heart. Quiet room. You're biased because it's your old caretaker speaking for the petitioners. No, that's not true at all. It's just I beg you, if someone has to starve, it has to be us, not them. It is not their responsibility to weather for us. Alternatively, we could turn them into us, then they can eat and serve. You cannot seriously think of expanding the military draft even further. The only dogs we still have left are the elderly and pups. Then what would you have us do? We need an army needs soldiers need sustenance. Fail to secure any of that, and the only fate that awaits us is either defeat or submission to our enemies. See how all of them will fare then. In the end, it is a decision for the king. Indeed, by the royal gas bestowed upon me, I strive to see any decree come to pass, whatever your majesty decides upon. Those damn voters, if it wasn't for their dirty tricks, we wouldn't be in this mess in the first place. I was confused. Everything felt wrong, but so very personal. I was sitting on my throne in the main hall. I was surrounded by guards and soldiers. But I was there too, wearing the robes of a royal advisor. Did I make a decision to promote him to one? I wondered. In the middle of the hall stood a group of thin, almost sickly-looking dogs, a delegation of villagers and small folk from the poorer parts of the Crimson Grove. They had their ears splayed down and their tails tucked between their legs, but some of them still wagged their tails while looking up at me. My body felt unnatural but familiar at the same time. I was taller, older, maybe about as old as I am now. To elaborate, royal robes looked absolutely stunning on me. Contrasted so dreadfully with the tattered outfits of the dogs in front of me. I have never seen anyone looking so bad in my entire life. I wasn't allowed to just go out and explore after all. Had there always been people like that in my kingdom? Or was that what the grove was supposed to turn into under my rule? In the whole delegation there was only one dog looking very much out of it. There was one dog that looked very much out of place, an Australian Kelpie wearing castle silver clothes. I recognized him as Rudy from the memory of my grandmother's day. He was the one who stood over my crib together with Doom Moon and Gunner. He kept his ears straight up and looked at me with determination. He must have been the one who spoke for the others. 100 pairs of eyes lingered on me. I felt every single mind waiting in anticipation for my decision. You cannot undo this choice. You can't undo the choice, so once we make a decision, we can't go back. So to feed the people. I mean, you don't need to feed an army to defend it, but people have already been starving and there could be a famine. You gotta go with the people. Well, I'm just gonna pick this short simply because Rune suggested we do. I want to go with the choice with Ghana. Your Majesty, you have to go back inside. It isn't safe here. What? We'll hold them off till the last dark, but Your Majesty, the scouts confirmed they have access to avian mine. What? My body was battered by strong winds as I was standing on the castle walls. The sudden change of scenery left me completely confused. There was a lot of noise below across the city. Slowly, like in a trance, I walked towards the edge. My heart skipped a beat as I saw the capitals of the crimson royal grove in smoke and smoldering ember. The screams of the innocent citizens could barely reach me that high, drowning in the guttural war shouts of our indolent enemies from beyond the border. Flashes of magic danced between the smoke-shrouded buildings as our soldiers clashed against the invaders, and sudden explosion of purple flames destroyed the foundation of the clock tower. They were everywhere, the whole ground swarming with bulls, horses, bisons, and then a quick blur of yellow-purple light flashed over the roofs. On a boat, the stone set as a massive ungulate ran up the castle wall, shrouded in the magic glow. My king! My loyal guard pulled me away from the edge as a massive X flow from below barely missed my snout. Archers started shooting arrows at a sudden intruder. Only to be outmaneuvered and struck down with heavy bricks thrown right at their heads. As a massive bison invaded landed on the edge of the wall, the axe he threw at me before landed back in his hand, giving him a tool to behead Jake and Nick with. He stared at me, heaving loudly with breath so hot it spewed purple red sparks out of his mouth and nostrils. So you are the wolf sitting on the crimson wolf's throne. I sat back, afraid to even show my back to him. He stood on the wall and gripped the handle of his axe firmly. He swung his arm back with a blood-lusting grin, winding up for the final He swung his arm back with a blood-lusting grin, winding up for the final throw. Magic steel boxed the weapons coming towards him. The wretched empire dies with you canine scum. Suddenly the bison showed his bows back. A small hole appeared in the middle of his chest. He blunted in surprise and touched the wet spot. He stared at his bloody hand for just a few seconds before stumbling back and falling down the wall. It took a few seconds before I could hear the heavy splash of water fall below in the moat. The air smelled of iron and sulfur. Centuries of people's hopes and effort to rise a kingdom. One stupid decision of an incompetent brat to turn it all to asses. A few weeks after he decided to cut food tribute for the army, the front line at the borderlands collapsed and the enemy infiltrated your homelands. And as the aliens marched at the capital, hundreds of canine households suffered enslavement or death at their hands. You fed the heart of the country like you wanted, true, but that was a terrible priority in the time of war. Your subjects didn't understand that, but you should have. Ruling a country is like being a parent. More often than not, you have to hurt your children for their own good. And you always have to know better than them, even if they hate you for that. If you can't even do that, you're not a ruler. You're just a child in a shiny crown. As the voices of thousands in the city grew uncannily louder to my ears, I watched the observer raise his free hand, bringing two fingers again, and no, stop, please. Quiet, villain. A strong tug at a chain around my neck made me yelp in fear and pain. I was kneeling on an elevated wooden platform erected in the middle of the plaza by the capital city's main street. Half a dozen ungulate warriors held me and a few other canines by the chains. Gunner was there. He was sickly, thin, and battered. The other canine general, the hussy, was there too. He, however, was free and stood by the enemy's side, staring at the crowds in silence. The dogs in the plaza were quiet, tense. They watched in silence as the enemy was making a show of us. I saw the purple banners of the invalids over the crimson royal walls, castle walls, far in the distance. This is your last chance before blood spills, Wolf. Pledge your loyalty to your warlord of the ceiling hoof and join him at the invalid's palace. Submit under his patriarchal care as his 14th consort. Dispel the royal canine gales from Wu Moon, so our warlord can rule through him on the crimson grove throne. Order the people of your nation stand down, or else from this day onward your land shall forever be doused with fresh canine blood. I couldn't speak. My heart and mind were shut down from the overflowing grief and anger of hundreds of souls gathered on the plaza. I could feel the whole canine nation staring in that defeat, the humiliation. I looked up at the hussy general. He still avoided my stare. Why? I did what you asked. Why would you betray me? Someone lost his life on my side. It was a gun of mine. Connection to his mind disappeared, replaced by the solid sense of blood. It is better this way. But for you and for your people's sake. You'll be more help in the royal bull's chambers than on the royal canine throne. As the ungulate's laughter bellowed around me, the hussy still avoided eye contact. His mind was cold and close to me. I became deaf to the sounds. Something was happening around me, and I was so overwhelmed I couldn't even think. People shouted at me. Then I saw the crowds in the plaza rising against the ungulate soldiers to come to my aid. Everything became a bloodbath. And as my companions were being executed on the spot, I was the only one being dragged away by the chains, kicking and screaming. Funny how even people you try to please can still turn on you in this instant. Sometimes they hate you more the more you give them. Doesn't make much sense, does it? And yet I've seen it happen so many times. People never truly know what they want until you give it to them, never sooner. The same is true with you. Everything you saw happen because of the decision you made, your own independent free choice. So you did it. You followed your heart. How did that work out for you? I didn't want any of that to happen. Yet you were the one who made it so. If only I made a different choice. Your other options weren't much better. Let me show you. No, please. But he still clicked his fingers. He saw me all the other visions dozens of past my will could take. The various moments of my failure, unsolvable dilemmas, hard, unavoidable choices, each ending in tragedy. I watched people suffer through those choices. So many pain, disappointed, desperate faces, all of them suffered under me. Famine, cursed plagues, lost wars, corruption. I watched my people suffer in all the imaginable ways, all the while. Through all that, in every scenario, I always remained the only one fed, clean, and unharmed. A beautiful king, ruling over an ever-watering kingdom. I can't do this. I can't be a king, but you are, whether anyone wants it or not. Why are you doing this to me? Do you want to take my place? You can have it. Oh? I don't want it. General Gunner or you, please, it doesn't matter. Anyone but me. If only it was that simple. Sadly, no, you have to be the one on the throne. Why? Why can't it be anyone else? What should I do? So you're finally asking for my guidance, huh? Yes, now I understand how blessed you are to have spent your childhood carefree. Right now, you have a good life because you have people who take care of you. Your people prosper. What you saw just now was just a sample of what you would have to go through if you didn't have me. But I promise you, with my knowledge, all those awful situations and countless others will be easily avoided. Submit yourself to me, and this is the end that awaits you. I stood on my castle's balcony overviewing the plaza below. My body was old and frail, neither my nose nor my eyes could focus properly anymore. My hearing was significantly dulled too. However, with the little I could see, hear, and sniff, my empathy was still as sharp as ever, filling the blanks in my other senses. There were so many souls there, and all of them happy, overjoyed to see me, celebrating me. The love they felt for me, it felt right. One huge pad bound in unity. So, this is my future. Future. Oh, enjoy a miracle the king has spoken once again. Yes, Your Majesty, this is your legacy. The legacy of peace, prosperity, and unity for our kingdom. Y'all have gathered here to celebrate your 18th birthday. I think it's the 80th birthday. I was completely lost in that moment, basking in the sun. Y'all have gathered here to celebrate your 80th birthday. I was completely lost in that moment, basking in the sun and listening to the cheering crowds. I was surrounded by happy people my whole life, but I had never felt something so overwhelmingly blissful. As though every single canine melding with the next, hundreds of them. As a leader of a pack, I imagined that had to be what paradise felt like. And my eyes and nose were so dry, I felt that I would cry or celebrate the air was saturated with. Thank you, observer. Thank you. Who are you talking to, Your Majesty? Oh no, his sanity is slipping again, poor wolf. I felt everything around me starting to fade. I didn't know how long the vision would last, but it was like I was starting to wake up from a dream. The most wonderful dream. The best birthday of my life. Yes, the best was still ahead of me. I wonder, what gift will Barry bring me on my 80th birthday? Your Majesty, Barry Tangled, my past advisor. I am not sure what to tell you, my king. That name doesn't ring a bell. Okay, that's enough. No. The famous scholar. You have to know him, Barry Tangled. You can wake up now. Your Majesty, even I don't know who you're talking about, even though I have fair access to my recollections of the previous moons. The moons. You aren't Moon Moon, are you? No, that was my last life. My current name is... It doesn't matter. Come back now. I felt the dream around me falling apart. Unlike with the previous visions, the observer's presence didn't feel as close or tangible. Everything started becoming a blur, like a difference between a lifelike dream and reality. The awareness of my real self started connecting to my mind, pulling apart the sensations of my future self. Yet I was still there, for just one more breath. One more breath. All of that was still real enough to me. So I braced myself as I used that breath to shout inside the illusion of a voice that was both deafening in the dream and silent in the reality. By the power of the world, gas, I order you. Tell me what happened to Doom Moon. I felt my arms again, my legs. My mind was reclaiming its whole clarity. And only the faintest connection of the gas still connected me to the visions of the future. The voice beyond the dream reverberated through it. The human. mask. The connection was no more. I was back for good. I knew clearly I was awake in reality. Back in the corridor underground with the observer patting my head. I was still holding the coin in his other hand. I recognized that moment. It was right after we concluded our coin flipping game. That was when he touched my head and said his real power. Next, Gunner was going to say, "Please, be gentle, he's a good boy." "Don't worry, Gunner. It's already over." And I'd say it went pretty well. I could see the pair clearly once again. He took his hand off my head, just like the last time. I stared at him, and there was no light in his eyes anymore. "That wasn't so bad, was it, puppy?" He brought his finger to my snout to boop it exactly like the first time. And I could just take it, exactly like the first time. But then, suddenly, as a storm of fire, something swelled and stabbed inside me. Before I knew it, my teeth sank into bloody bastard's hands.
How come that even when you're purposely trained to be a coddled, spineless bitch, you still end up doing the exact same shit every single fucking time? Please, observer. We can still salvage it. Just because you cannot confirm what's going to happen doesn't mean what you've seen is worthless. We will make it happen. We're going to be careful. You will listen to me, right, Your Majesty? Please, please, let him live this time. Gunner pleaded for me to the masked man, but he didn't approach to help me get up like he usually would. His mind felt extremely panicked at the edge of breaking. He worried for me, but he felt trapped. The observer crouched in front of me, staring right into my eyes. I still couldn't see his own eyes, hidden in the darkness behind the mask. He just stared at me in silence. We don't have much choice, no time for another redo. It took Doom Moon half his lifetime to find and hunt down all those previous incarnations before he became a wolf again. At this point, we're already out of time. What? Doom Moon? Yes, Doom Moon, your hero. Alright, you wanted to learn about him, didn't you? So, there he is. You're alive here with us right now in this form because he went through all that trouble to kill you over and over in every other form you took before finally becoming a dog again. Funny thing, the difference between a murderer and a hero, isn't it? A distinction drawn by nothing more than which end of his noble sword you end up at. Still must have been absolutely awful for both you and him to go through all that. And yet, even he understood the importance of his cause. He said the shackles of ignorance and sentimentalism for the good of everyone. Or your own good included, the current you, I mean. But you killed Doom Moon, did I? Or more importantly, does it matter? Does it matter what happened to your previous incarnations either? Not really. None of that is of any consequence. What matters is that you are here right now. And he is too. He didn't leave you for long. He's actually been back with us for some time now, for years, right under your cute pink nose. Already under our care. What? Where? I squirmed as he brought his masked face close to me. He whispered into my ear. You will meet him very soon. We will bless him on his name day. Gunnar doesn't know what name he's going to choose for himself, but I can tell you he's not going to like that choice. It will remind him of Doom too much. You're going to use Moon's disobedience as an excuse to publicly put gas on him early. If you don't do that, he will undoubtedly betray and kill you when he grows older. Don't tell Gunner any of those details, or it will not come to pass, and you'll invite chaos upon your people. Have him, however, teach you how to install a gas soon. After sailing in my vision today, you should have no issue understanding and utilizing the Fenrir Lisa's powers. Soon after Moon's name day, I will have Gunner bring you to me again. We'll have another talk. I will reveal to you the true nature of this world and your role in it. But now, I have to rest. He brought his hurt hand closer to me. After the briefest pause of hesitation, he gave me a couple of pats on my head before standing back up. Once he stepped away, Gunner finally approached me, helping me get up and checking up on me. His mind was mentally exhausted but full of gratitude. Remember, the things you saw today were neither lies nor fabrications. Take a single wrong turn, and they will come to pass. You may think it's too much for a single dog to hold the fate of tens of thousands of souls in your hands. No, the fate of the whole world. And you'd be right. They may call you king in the same vein as one would call their pet's chief, Rex, Duke, or boss. But make no mistake, under any name, you're still nothing but a beast. I don't expect you to comprehend or even agree with my designs, but for our mutual benefit, at least understand that I want your little country to prosper as much as you do. And it will. I know it will. I haven't survived this long by being wrong. He whistled 2 times, and the 3 dogs ran away somewhere into the darkness of the big hall. As I observed himself walked away towards his bedroom. He swayed. Visibly tired, he rested against the frame of the door for a moment before finally disappearing inside. We should go, Your Majesty. I was standing a few steps away from Gunner, facing away from him. He was worried that I didn't want to talk to him, and that was true too. But Gunner wasn't really on my mind that much at that moment. The thing that took all of my focus was assigning a little object on the floor. The coin that the observer dropped when he slapped me. I took it in my fingers and stared at it in disbelief and confusion. He was wrong. And then we went back upstairs with Gunner in total silence. It was really bloody awkward. Anyway, any questions so far? I took a look at the faces of my friends around me. They're all wide-eyed and with their mouths gaping in shock. Slowly their eyes drift from Alon towards me. What? They all look away. Nothing. Very well. If all's clear so far, then. Is Luke the observer? Max. No, think about it. That guy was obviously a human, and Luke, you have that conveniently selective amnesia thing going on, and you, Alon, you said I had eyes of the observer. That one night when Luke shared his power with me, that's what you call his minor vision, right? No. Woon doesn't say anything. He just stares down, shakes his head, and hyperventilating. Guys, come on. You can't seriously think that. A toothy grin curls up on Alon's snout. His chest shakes with a quiet, deep laughter. A pretty cool twist, huh? Or at least it would be if you were correct. No, the observer's another human. He's currently sitting on the Grove's throne. Surprised you're not alone in this world after all. Oh, thank fucking dog. I would literally jump off the top of Zelda if I were betrayed again. Well, of course. I was just being hypothetical. Sorry. That's okay, Max, but oh my god, there's another human out there? Yes, he's evil. Well, evil is subjective and a very strong word to describe Luke's kin. Wait, my research, my brothers, my whole life, their lives. Oh no, that that unredeemable, bloody demon spawn. Yeah, got that right. No redeeming that one. A pretty special nutcase, I'm afraid. Alon, is everything you just said true? You didn't make any of that up? Because if you did, please. That's too much for a joke. Unfortunately, whether I liked it or not, all that was for real. I never, I was never a real king, only a puppet in the hands of a more powerful being dwelling in the shadows under my home. It was a new, scary thing I had to process and come to terms with, an impossible task for a small puppy brought up in a stress-free life. Everything I took for granted suddenly turned out to be a lie all my life. The marble walls didn't give me comfort and security anymore. The once friendly faces filled me with doubt and fear. I started to even doubt my empathy. After all, everything and everyone was designed to turn me into the observer's perfect pawn. Even Ghana. This is the relic, Your Majesty, Fenrir's leaves. It is a catalyst. It is a catalyst for powerful manifestations, and the concepts of connections and binding. With it, you can create an unbreakable seal, anchor yourself to another person. And it is also one of the necessary components in the creation of your royal chaos. Normally, a hex like that can be used only on a willing canine, and the relic itself has to be in the possession at the moment of issuing a chaos bond order. To you, however, such limitations do not apply. You still need the lease in your hand to initiate your seals, but once set, it should be possible for you to activate their effects without it. I have never been good enough to utilize this power, but I know for sure that works. If our friend from below said you're ready to use it, then that must be true. You are in fact the one who created this relic. You are also our king. You yourself are unity manifest. Only you can unlock the full power of the Fenrir's lease. I have gathered 3 subjects for you to practice on, each varying in level of willingness. Let's start with the most eager one. Without as much as an audible cue, the guards outside my room opened the door and let a guest enter my chambers. I felt a block of ice grow in my stomach as a familiar mountain of muscle and joy stood before me, saturating the air with a thick layer of fermented Kobe meat fruit fragrance. My star, I came. As soon as I was summoned, I immediately dropped my chew ball and ran all the way here to see you. Stay quiet and kneel. You're in the presence of the king. Oh, come on, give us a moment. It's been a while, a lot to catch up with. Right, my love? Gunnar's eyes twitched, and frustration a lively Rottweiler wagged his tail, practically eating me with his eyes. I can still feel cold shivers from just remembering those eyes. Gosh, you are as adorable as ever. You were brought with a purpose.